What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lasting Thoughts Podcast. I'm your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again for another episode. And yeah, you guys like what you're gonna hear, what you're gonna hear. Please be sure to share this podcast, rate it, all of that good stuff. Trying to revive ourselves here. But yeah, so going into my usual what I've been up to. I want to go back to the previous episode. Even though didn't want to talk about this in 2023 no more, but whatever. Um, there was some stuff that I forgot. Mainly some films and shows that I forgot that I left out, or maybe I think I left out. I don't know. So I just want to talk about that real quickly, which was the One Piece live action. Yeah. Um, one of the rare times they finally got live action adaptations of an anime right. Um, and it's in the middle if you want to nitpick it, but all in all, it's a great adaptation. But I do like if you do want to nitpick it, there's gonna be some issue. Like especially if you're a hardcore, like you've been reading and watching the anime the whole time, and then you go to that. Obviously, you're gonna notice some things, but for the new people, it's great for the new people because it wraps up like the first arc in like a nice condensed way where they don't like flood you with all the characters like that. Because one thing with One Piece, which I'll be nervous about if the live action is long term. One thing about One Piece is some characters like they do last. Like there's some characters that's like from the beginning that's like right now currently in the manga or in the anime making a big impact. Like they still important. Like they could be side characters in the beginning, but then they come out of nowhere and they have some impact. And I feel like some of these characters are kind of getting like thrown to the side. So it could be interesting on like how they're gonna fix that when we get to those certain points if they go long term. But as what it is right now, it's great. It's good. If you are one of those people who are hesitant on finally starting the anime or something, the live action is a great alternative, I would say. I don't know if I brought up the Spider Verse, but that apparently that came out 2023. I thought that came out 2022, like at the end, but I guess not. I mean, I don't know what's there to say. It's a great movie, great animation, great sequel. But of course, it falls to the trend of everything being done in parts. I don't know why. I mean, obviously we know why, to milk the franchise, but whatever. I just like, come on, just like figure out a way to tell a story in one shot, so we can just move on to the next story. But Spider Verse was good. Guardians 3, I think it's the third one. Yeah, Guardians 3, great trilogy. I feel like I talked about this and like before I stopped podcast, like when I took that break. But yeah, the trilogy, like the whole Guardians trilogy, that's my favorite, I guess, franchise of the MCU. Could like it's done well. And there was Transformers: Rise of the Beast. That was actually a good movie. I haven't seen like Transformer movies since like probably the third one. I think. um, I don't remember. Maybe the third or fourth one. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, after that, cause they just started getting weird. Like they started making a bunch of Transformers movies, and I wasn't sure if they connect anymore. So I just stopped, and I was hearing good things about the recent one, and I was like, I'll give it a shot, and watched it. It was good. But yeah, that was to wrap up any of the movies and shows that I missed on my last year best of. But going on to currently what I've been up to. I teased it last episode, but now I can finally, well, not finally, like I wasn't it wasn't on no hush hush. It's just that I wanted it to be official before I say it. So officially, myself and two good brothers of mine, we decided to come together and launch a new podcast called Spliffs and Sake. And despite the name, it's actually an anime-based podcast. So if you want to tune into that, it's also a video format too. So it's not just audio. You can actually go watch. Just go on YouTube and search out Spliffs and Sake podcast, and hopefully it pops up. But yeah, we already just got our first episode out, and just getting started. A little something, So you guys don't want to hear me just talk about stuff I talk about here, but you want to hear something different, especially with more, different opinions with co-hosts. And yeah, you can tune into that. But yeah, other than that, what else I've been up to? Not much, just chilling. I'm trying to get back into, 'cause like I said, I took a break on like everything at one point, so I'm trying to get back into doing everything again. I'm trying to get back into reading my manga again. And now that I'm doing this podcast, I'm gonna start watching more anime, so we can actually talk about more anime. And yeah, that's mainly it. Just doing a lot of stuff and just trying to re-enter my other hobbies. But yeah, so this episode, I always do this. I'm like just stop doing it, but just gonna do it. This episode might be short, but yeah, whatever. I actually got two topics, but how I'll talk about them, yeah. So this one, it was actually, I just like seen it, and I mean, it's been popping up in a while, but just seeing like taglines and stuff, and it's like, interesting. And that's the concept of us entering the dystopian future. It's all going downhill from here, guys. Because, the new VR, I think the Apple Vision, whatever, Pro, whatever they name their stuff, recently came out, and of course a lot of people who have tried the product is just like raving about it, like, yeah. And then there's videos like just people like, because the way it works is it's a VR headset, but you can still see around you in the real world. So there's a lot of people who just like walking around like on a day-to-day basis with these goggles on and doing whatever they doing on the goggles, but also just walking around, and like they could still, hopefully they could still see around them enough to not cause any incidents. And I'm seeing like someone made a post like, oh yeah, this is the dystopian future, we getting there. And I also recently seen, I believe the first person got the brain chip implanted in their head from Elon Musk or whatever he's doing, which would basically just be a chip version of like being able to control your devices from your head or whatever the case is. I don't know. So a lot of people like, man, yeah, this is it. The technology taking over, AI and all it is. And then there's, which I had on this podcast previously, muting this before. We already know, we discussed this, and he loves all of this. Like, he loves the advancement of like the technology. He's just like sitting there and like plotting like to see how everything gonna unfold. But yeah, because we did have this conversation. I guess this is kind of like a part 2, part 3, whatever. Like the discussion of cyberpunk, and I was thinking about it too, because again, well, first, I've been watching a lot of YouTube as always. But I was watching videos about Back to the Future, and when they got to like Back to the Future 2, and it was like how they depict it. our future was gonna look like by the year 2015 with hoverboards and electric cars everywhere and like holographic things and self-tying shoelaces and all of that. And then we get to 2015 and it's like, yeah, we got none of that. They literally made the shoes like for that occasion, like, oh yeah, like we did something. But we didn't really get anywhere close to what that movie depicted. There's even the one where they took like a pizza from like a little package. It's like a small tiny pizza and they put it like in the cooking machine and it instantly just cooks and it comes out as a big whole piece of pie. Like, wait, yeah, we're definitely not there. And then of course going into my favorite game, Cyberpunk 2077, which yeah, the year takes place in 2077, but there's flashbacks of the game, which actually, funny enough, took place last year. um, one of the flashbacks in the game takes place last year, and it's like even as recent as then, like they was already ushering in the cyberpunk realm, and then by the time we got to 2077, it was like full blown cyberpunk, and I'm like, my question is not so much about the dystopian future. My thing is, why is it split? I mean, I think it's an obvious answer, but still, like, just to create dialogue on why is it split on one group of people like, man, yeah, technology gonna take over, this is it for us, whatever. Because you know how mostly with movies, when technology start becoming, aware and whatnot. But then you have stuff like Cyberpunk, and I'm pretty sure Blade Runner would be a good example. I never watched it, so I can't compare it. But just strictly going off of Cyberpunk, like when we fully like usher in the age of technology, and it's like, just like like there's nothing from that universe. It's like nothing really bad happened in the sense of like technology taking over. Like it's just another step in our quote unquote evolution of our progression. Like like my father actually had this conversation with me like a long time ago, like when I was a kid, and I think we was on the Brooklyn Bridge, and he was like, when you think about like the people who were like living in like older times and whatnot, like if you show them this Brooklyn Bridge right now, or just how the view of the city looks right now, they would think like, they'll think we're in cyberpunk. And it's like, it's all perspective. Like it's just a natural jump. Like this was going to happen. Like as we progress and we keep advancing into new things with science and technology and everything, it's just going to happen. And the problem is those people who are, we're set in our ways. I remember my friend actually sent me a video on TikTok, and it was like, oh, like millennials are the last generation to like experience what the world really was before things got crazy. And he was like, so like, no, I want to paint a picture for you guys. Like, no, like go back to when it was like 2006, and you didn't have no phone. You couldn't really be on internet because of the phone line. You had to dial up, so it would go crazy. And you just go outside and just find your friends. And I'm just saying here, like, you picked the wrong year, my guy, because by then I was already gaming on a laptop. So phone lines wasn't really that big of a thing. I had a cell phone at 2003, so you're already 3 years too late with me doing that. So it's like there's no back in our days, like the thing about millennials or whatever, our generation as a whole, when I mainly say our generation, mainly basically like people that's in our age group or older, like old enough to understand what happened. Like we was able to see like that, like we was able to see dial up, go to Wi-Fi, like you know, we was able to see pagers turn into normal cell phone usage. Like I remember seeing my father with a pager at one point. It was brief, but I remember seeing them with one. So it was like I seen it. It was there at one point in time, and then we just ushered into the new era. Cell phones just became more common, and then I remember when I got my cell phone. I was hype as hell. And then my brother got a cell phone, a new cell phone, because I believe he had the cell phone. My first cell phone I got was the first one he got. And then we didn't get it at the same time. Just that was the first one, so I was hyped. So when I saw he had that phone, I was like, oh, like the typical, you got any games on it, just on his phone. And then when I finally got one on my own, and it was the same phone he got, so I was like, oh, I already know how to use it because I've been all up on his phone. That's always been me. Like I already if I see something new, I'm gonna find a way to like learn it before I own it, type thing. So it was like, yeah, and then I got my phone, and then my brother got a new upgrade phone, and his had a camera on it. And I'm like, oh, mind blown! Like, oh, he got a camera on his phone. Like, that's crazy. And then we got to the texting age where before it became a gimmick, it was still when you flip your phone open and you gotta type with the keypad. So you gotta go to the letter C. You gotta type what's that, number 2 or number 1, like 3 times just to get the one letter. Then it became a gimmick. It's like, all right, how can we make this quicker and easier? And then like, all right, let's make the sliding keyboards on your phones and whatnot. And then Blackberries, where the phone is basically a mini keyboard with a screen. Sidekicks, oh my god. So we was able to see that, and now we went to smartphones, which, when was the first iPhone? Maybe 2006. Was funny enough that he brought up that video. He brought up that time period. Let me see, the first iPhone, 2007. So 1 year. Then we went into touchscreen phones. Then iPods, because we went from well, I wasn't around for that time, but we went from holding the boombox who I had to a Walkman to a CD player to now we just got the iPod, and now we just everything is in one device. Everything is on your phone. Your music there, your media to watch the videos is there. Your GPS is there. The internet is there. And it's like we came to this point, and it's like for the people who's like, oh, we in this time, guys, and I'm like, but you got a smartphone. You participate in this culture. Like, if you completely against it, then be completely against it. You shouldn't even be on TikTok commenting about this. Like, just accept that this is gonna be the change. Like, that's it. Like, I don't understand why people want to like make these, I don't know what this called, like false fear in people. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen because we seen a bunch of movies, and some people like, yeah, man, they was already predicting it. They just warning us. I'm like, there's 2 ways to look at that. All right, let's say they were warning us. You still let it happen. Again, you still have a smartphone. You still participate in the technology advancement. Like, you seen it coming from a mile away, and you still let it happen. You can't be, oh, now that it's happening, I don't like that it's happening. Like, no, it's been happening. It's just, it's a new thing now. I've been saying it for a while that we aren't ready for VR because they've been trying with gaming for the longest. I'm like, we're not really ready for it yet because it still doesn't feel right. Like, when I try VR gaming, like, it's like there's still something there that's like not making you really feel like you're there. And I don't mean like in a like a physical way, but like mentally, something that's in my mind that's like putting a barrier. Like, this is still a screen in my face. Like, this is not it's not too immersive. I haven't tried any of the recent products as of late to see how they upgraded, but everyone is raving about this one. So I'm assuming that they finally, figured it out. So if that's what's going to become the normal, then that's going to become the normal. I mean, they've been trying to do the whole VR thing for the longest with the Meta, the Oculus, all of that. Um, and me being a gamer, being a person who always on the computer or whatnot, I like in some aspects I welcome the technology change because, like I said, I like to learn new things, and of course, if it better benefits my hobbies, like yeah. But then there's the cases where it don't benefit my hobbies, like these live server games, and I don't want to make this a gaming podcast, but to get into technology, like it's the same thing with streaming music. Like you're killing the life cycle of these products because let's say we are in a dystopian world or whatever, and something happens that knocks out like all the technology. All your songs is gone, all your games is gone. It's like that's gone. And what I mean by not so much technology, but it knocks out like the online world, I guess. Let's put it that way. So you can't connect online no more. You can't stream stuff no more. You can't play the games that's like you can only play them like Apex, Fortnite, like these the games like you can only just download them online. But then there's like, all right, well, I still got this game with a CD in it, so I can just put the CD in it and I can still play it. So like for those people who still, you know, who still value the physical aspect of the technology they can preserve their history. That's the thing. Like history can change when you make everything digital because something could get wiped out, and of course there's a lot of issues with the whole Mandela effect, and people like, nah, I remember this being this, and I remember seeing one. Let me see if I can pull it up. There was and funny, and fortunately enough, I don't have nothing from like my childhood either. But there was a debate about the Fruit of the Loom um, brand, and people were like, I remember at one point like there was that little what do you call that, cornucopia, whatever, that little that basket looking thing. They're like, I remember that being a part of their logo at one point, and Fruit of the Loom themselves came out and said no, that was never part of our logo, and they uploaded like a timeline of all their logos, and then one girl was like, nah, I actually do have a shirt that clearly has that logo on it. I don't know how true that is, but the point is like, yeah, unless you physically still own these old things, they can literally rewrite history digitally, and that becomes the problem with technology advancement. If we keep everything digital, whatnot, we ain't gonna know our history anymore. And especially for people, of my shade of skin, that's that's something that's always been happening to us, and now it would just make it even more easy. So it's half and half with this. Like, yeah, the technology's gonna happen. You had the choice to stop it by not supporting it. Like, everyone could have still just stuck with their flip phones, whatever, and it is what it is. Because we already know, like, the whole trend with iPhones mostly is like, oh, whenever they about to get ready to roll out the next one, they'll put an update in your phone that will purposely mess up your old one. So now you have to get the new one. It's like they're forcing you into being a part of this new technology era. So you're gonna have to find a way to make a stand, or just accept that this is going to be it. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents on that. You let me know how you feel about that. My last topic, or my next topic, is something that I kind of came to terms with, because this is what I was dealing with all last year, and that's and listening to listening to an artist that I'm sure I talked about on here a few times, Novelist, and his recent album Vagabond that came out last year. And in the song Vagabond itself, he has a line where he's like, "Is it about mastering thoughts or not having thoughts at all?" Because the whole concept of the song is him talking about like in the hook, he's like, "I seen the summit, but it's the goal to climb the mountain or to become it." And it's like trying to figure out what is our true purpose and what is our real intention. That's why I'm at the point in my life now where I'm letting go of a lot of things. I'm even letting go like overthinking things. I'm no longer going to think about things because it's not. It might not be my place to think about it. Like life just happens. It all just flows. And it's like if I keep thinking about things and overthink about things, I'm gonna drive myself crazy. And this is how I end up in situations like last year. And I can't keep arguing with myself about everything that comes in my mind. I gotta just deal with what's in front of me. Go day by day, step by step, handle what's going on, get through the day, and you know, we go on from there. So it's not I guess it's not really much of a topic, but more so of like questioning on what's your stance on the situation of, what is our true, like, not our purpose, but like our stance on like viewing everything and trying to be like, like even like the technology thing, there's those people who probably are saying it like, technology and AI is gonna take over the world and it's just driving me crazy. Like we really in this dystopian times. And then like I said, there's my boy Muniz who just like, yeah, let the technology come, man, like let it happen. And then there's just me. It's like, oh, the new headset came out. I mean, I don't have the funds for it right now, so I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna worry about it until I'm put in a position where I can actually physically do something about it. If it's not in my life, it's not in my life thing. Nobody in my life is coming up to me with the headset. I'm not going out my way to look for the headset because that's not what's important to me right now. So I'm not gonna think about it. I'm not gonna sit here and think about, oh man, that dude got a chip in his brain, man. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, he got a chip in his brain. I don't know what to tell you. Like, just it is what it is. That's their decision. That's their life path. Let them go down their path and see how that works for them. Everyone gotta just focus on their own path and enjoy themselves and cherish the experience. And that's it. Spread the love. But yeah, that's mainly it. Yeah, that's mainly it. So, I know it's been a while, but I'm gonna try to do the question of the day, which I guess I'll go with the obvious one is, what is your stance on technology advancement from, AI, VR, chips in our brains to the point where we are being cybernetically enhanced, like I mentioned in the Cyberpunk episode. Are you like, you just for it, you against it, or you just like, whatever happens. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As always, please be sure to share this, rate it on Spotify, and don't forget to check out my new podcast with my boys, Spliffs and Sake podcast. And yeah, till next time, have a great day, you have a great week. Peace.